is Torimo Jori, and in this Toreview, we're going to be talking about the 20th episode of Frieren, Necessary Killing. In this exploratory episode, I'm going to be talking about every little detail of it. Beluga, I'm going to show you a quick spoiler warning, because Frieren is something you really gotta experience by watching. So if you haven't watched it yet, go do it now. This episode was amazing. Heed my warning and watch this Toreview. 1. We start this episode with the fighting between Ubel and Werbel, with Ubel slicing trees as she goes. We see Fern saturating Ere a bit with the attacks, and Ere struggling to hold up. Next up we see Werbel cast Sorganil on Ubel, a spell which restrains an opponent. Werbel gives Ubel the chance to leave the still and run away, but Ubel tosses it in the air and slices close to Werbel's eyes in a close second. We get some Werbel exposition when he was in the Northern Magic Corps, where sending women and children to war was a common practice. Ubel figures out that Werbel doesn't really want to kill people, so he gets time from his spell. Fern interrupts Werbel's killing blow and claims to have killed Ere. Werbel walks away and they part their paths. Of course, Fern didn't really kill Ere, and we look over to Land's fight. We see Land getting pummeled by steel flowers, getting his wounds gaped. However, this entire time, he was just observing his weaknesses. It was a clone all along. The real Land gives him a little zappy and knocks him out cold. Werbel finds Ere and carries her on his shoulder. He carries Sharp with magic, though. Werbel recalls a heartwarming story of a promise to a little girl, and they suddenly just happen upon a still, which Werbel immediately catches. We hop over to Frieren's party versus Denkins, and Lao Fen snags the still's cage. The testers speak of the testes and the test itself, of the unfairness and brutality of the whole matter. Denkin challenges Frieren to a mage's duel, and Richter proclaims that he will kill one of the girls. Richter informs the group of the reward, of a spell from the great mage Jori. And the battle begins, with Richter summoning a giant plateau, and Denkin facing off against Frieren. Again, our four parties are the parties of Fern, Werbel, Frieren, and Denkin. For Fern's party, we can obviously see the characterization of her group pop off in this episode. Fern, as always, using basic offensive magic and defensive magic. We see Ubel here, going for the kill at all costs, and of course the Four Eyes Land, showing how big-brained he is. We also get a lot of Werbel backstory and character this episode, showing that although he takes no pleasure in killing, he is willing to do whatever it takes to survive. Ere, we just see that she gets beat down by the supreme basic magic. Sharf, although we don't get to see much, has some cool flower power. Frieren is a calm Chad, as always. Khan is a fiery, watery mess. Line is the glue that holds the two together. We see that Denkin is not simply obsessed with status, he has deeper meanings behind his actions. Lao Fen is demonstrated to have an interesting power. Jilwer, originally from the mountain tribes for hunting and such. Richter seems to be incredibly bloodthirsty. I'm enjoying all of these characters so far, and hope to see them expanded upon in the future. My goodness, the animation in this episode is simply on point. First, I want to talk about Fern and Ere fight. Listen, Fern is just slamming attack after attack at Ere with no pause in between. It was awesome to see Ere's berry get smaller and smaller until she finally went boom. Next up is Ubel and Werbel's fight. This one was so fast-paced with strike after strike meeting one another. Ubel's quick movements versus Werbel's trained ones. It was truly something to behold. Of course, though, Werbel had to cheat with his restraining magic. Anyways, Sharp's use of flowers, turning them into sharp weapons of destruction against his enemies, is an incredible sight. All of those petals floating around were incredibly cinematic. And even though we didn't get to see anything of Frieren and Denkin's groups fighting, Richter raising that massive amount of land was really cool. Probably wasted a lot of mana though. These fights in this episode were so cool. I can't wait for the next episode. Well, that was episode 20 of Sousou Frieren. I'll be back here for the 21st episode, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna get some Frieren and Denkin action. Get back here when I post that, and I'll see you later. Bye bye bye.